Okay. We put it.
Oh, we're live.
Oh,
That's okay. So
right where we want it.
that'd be good. So we're live, you said?
Mhm.
Welcome. We're here just getting ready, getting set up, getting ready to go here in just a sec. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Welcome to RTV, Reborntcg.
R.TV.
R.TV, live at 6 p.m. Central. But
Oh, goodness.
oh no, y'all missed some fun work topic discussions in the back before we went live. I'm sure everybody out there could absolutely relate when it comes to work. How some weeks are great, and I can tell you that this week, honestly, it's just been rough. I mean, rough. But you've had about a century worth of work career, so
Century.
sure you can relate. Kaya doesn't even work. The
No,
only
I
job
don't
she
have
has
a
is
job.
this
She's been
right now.
banned from working.
Banned from working.
Mhm.
But at least this is your part-time job. We just need to get you more proficient at it. But today's topic's gonna be kind of a good one, kind of fun, interesting. We had a request from an anonymous person. We'll dive that. I'll go ahead and talk about it a little bit here before we really dive into it. But you pretty much could see it in the title itself, and that's going over health and wellness from a faith perspective. And I know when it comes to anything health related, because I'm going to go ahead and send out the disclaimer now.
Yeah.
So that way you're aware, and you'll probably be hearing about 2 or 3 more times disclaimers throughout the episode tonight. But when it comes to health and wellness, we are not health advisors. We've just can share our experiences and from what we've heard. Whether you take that upon yourself to apply them and they work out, fantastic. If you apply them and they don't work out, remember, we didn't tell you to go do it. Just plain and simple. But I mean, we can all honestly can actually relate to some topic like this, because we've all had experience when it comes to health and wellness. I mean, especially this episode would have been perfect at the beginning of the year on January 1st, because that's when when people want to turn over the page and start the health and wellness journey itself.
Everybody joins the club for 3 months.
It's a 3-month window.
I remember when Robert and I started working out, and he goes, "My gosh, beginning of the year is so crowded. Couldn't get to, we had our routine, but we couldn't do our routine because everybody was on the machines we would use. So we were kind of waiting in line and all that stuff." And he goes, "I can't believe this. How are we going to do this?" I go, "Just give it 3 months."
Yo, for sure.
Enough,
every
3
time.
months, there we were back by ourselves again.
It's either you wait 3 months, or you go super, super early in the morning when you know no one's going to put in the time for that, or you go super late in the evening. Mm-hmm. So when I used to go to World's Gym, the one over there off of 174,
yeah.
So I went there for probably about 2 to 3 years. And when I was really, really aggressive with my regime and my plan and stuff, I always had it to where at the beginning of the month, I did my shift of the style of workout. And it was a 3-month routine, of course. And it was the machines that I knew that would not be targeted. So that way I could still go there at the time and stuff that I needed to dedicate and accomplish. So it was usually the Stairmaster, the elliptical, the free weights were always gone. I didn't even bother to do that. No one loved touching legs, so all the leg machines were wide open. And the tire, for some reason, no one liked doing the tire either. I was quite
it was
shocked.
A novelty but I'm out there at there's another fitness place down off of what is that back road back there? Anyway, back there, and I saw they put a tire out on the side, and I'd see people out there doing it, but driving by after a while, it just sits out there. You can tell because it's got grass growing around it.
Yeah.
They ain't using them no more.
I'd pick that up. To me, I enjoy the tire flip because it was a good compound movement, and just having that motion just felt good.
I went over it. Maybe it was, what club are you at now?
My garage.
Oh, okay.
I built one in my garage.
Like mine.
It's just easier.
I went over to look at Fitness Connection.
Fitness Connection,
I
yeah.
just wanted to look at it, and when I went in there, and the guy, I basically go, "Come over and take a tour." He goes, "Go on, just go." I didn't even take me.
Yeah.
But I went through there, and they had the tire flipper is a machine now. The tire.
Interesting.
No, they you put weight. You can put weight on it, and then you flip it, and then you go over and flip it, and you just go back and forth flipping it.
Well,
It was kind of, but it looked like half of a tire.
right. Yeah.
It was kind of like, well, there you go.
Yeah, that's different for sure.
And I actually was watching. I was watching a video today because it was talking about worst to, I think it was most best. He had 5 levels of machines just don't use, and then he went up. Says you'll see this in the fitness center and do this, and he went up through there, and it was pretty good. I was waiting for him because I'm doing therapy recovery for my legs. For me. So I'm watching that and I go, man, I want to check this out. I want to see if the things that I'm doing are things he says no to, and thank goodness, all 3 of the major things I'm doing is like that's the best.
Yes, I remember my knee recovery. It was rough.
Yeah, fortunately, I had the right. I just accidentally had gotten the right machines 25 years ago.
Well, and that's another funny thing when it comes to machines and people wanting to build like their own gym and stuff is that they'll buy the equipment and then the running joke is that it turns into a towel hanger after a while.
Yeah.
But
we rotate my stuff through. So like I got my bike in my office, the treadmill and the elliptical is in the weight room, and then right now my stepper's outside. I don't use it right yet, so I can't use it right yet. So but they'll move around. So I'll move the bike out, move the treadmill in, move that stuff around. So just as it's new by virtue of being in a different place. Yeah. But we don't put it in the bedroom because that's where it becomes the coat hanger.
That's where it becomes the coat hanger. And then
I know my clothes are in here somewhere. Turn that treadmill on and let me go through.
Also, another sad story was before I found World's Gym. There's a gym called Planet Fitness. Have you ever heard of them?
I was there for a few years.
Did you go there? Okay. I honestly, I would picture you being that gym.
I worked out there for probably 3 or 4 years.
Did you ever set off the lunk alarm?
I almost did.
I did actually set it off.
Were you grunting?
I wasn't grunting, but I was doing fly press with dumbbells, and when I went down to set it, one of them went faster than it should have. Yeah. I was always really easy, but I was already at fatigue and everything. So when I went down, arm just went with it. And
did they just talk to you, or did they?
Oh no, he kicked me out.
Oh really?
He kicked me straight out.
Oh. Well, see that gym isn't designed for really.
It's for people who just want to play on their phone and work out.
70 up. The dumbbells only went up to 75 pounds.
It went up to 60.
Okay, the one that I went to was at 75 pounds. So I mean, I'm warming up there. So I was like, forget that. So I'd use it, but just when I'm doing rep stuff. But machines, they were broke. They'd break down and
they would just have that sign for several months, and then what is it? Pizza Wednesdays.
Oh yeah, I don't
know. Pizza Fridays and Bagel Wednesdays.
Yeah.
When it came to that stuff.
Well, I was working out in there, and you bring stuff with you, right? Belts and stuff like that, so you carry a bag. And I was in there for 4 years, and they came in. The new management came in and go, "You can't have that bag there. You got to put that bag in."
They'll get you on the bag or the size of the water bottle.
4 years. I was there and no one said a thing. And I go, what about those other 5 bags that's laying up against the wall? Says you can't have your bag. I never said anything to the other guys over there. I did like that. I don't know what it would be. It was a big giant. What is that? Ninja Warrior rack.
Oh,
where it has all these different grabbing, and you can. And I worked out over there that was like the first. That was my warm up, was over there doing that. But
I wish Burleson had a rock climbing area. I know like the closest one is over there in Arlington. It's a shame because otherwise I would love to go to that always and just rock climb, because I did it twice when I went to UTA and it was fun. They had like a free cable room where you could actually climb with no ropes or nothing. So I tried my best and I was trying to go all the way.
But you do have your belay, right?
You have the belay if you're doing the outside walls, but they had like this, like a room like a little bit bigger than our studio room, that the floors are matted and all that, but you can try to
just
free climb. Yeah. So I was trying to see, let's see how good I can get. So I can get to the corner, and as soon as I try to do the reach, I'm holding it fine here, and I'm still doing fine here. But as soon as I lifted that leg barely off the notch,
yeah.
Every time I cannot do it.
I see those pictures of, reaching for the heights, and this guy is underneath this cliff, and I'm like, no. I mean, I start, I got to turn this off. I can't look at it. But when we go to camp, they have a climbing wall. And
I saw that.
We'll get out there and do that.
Stuff like that is super fun, though.
Yeah.
And
I've done all three sides of the wall.
Oh, really? Last year we didn't go on it.
Well, this year we can. By we, I mean you. Actually, I may be able to. I keep on. My leg might be strong enough to do it. It's fun.
If you see him coming in a wheelchair next episode, it didn't go well.
Yeah. I was hoping to be in good enough shape to be able to do
the camp is volleyball. What day to what day next week?
It is next Sunday through Wednesday. We come back Thursday.
Okay, so we'll still have another Friday. We should have.
We don't miss nothing.
Yeah, miss nothing. But as everybody can see, and whoever's in the room, we appreciate you actually hopping in and hearing us do our little banter talk and stuff. But it kind of pretty much segues into what we're going to be talking about. And as one more time, disclaimer, we are not health advisors. We are not professional. What do they call them? That does the trainers. We are none of that. This is just from personal experience that we have dealt, that helps and manages what we do because of the research and studies that we put in. But if you do run with it, do it at your own risk. I think that's pretty much the best way to claim.
Don't try any of these things until you've checked with your doctor first.
Right. If you are,
or your spouse,
if you are one of our 80-year-old viewers, we appreciate you logging on and getting help logged on. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. But also, we're not asking you to bench press 250 pounds for your first rep. So if you can, please send us that YouTube, record it, send it to us, and we'll play it here because that'll be awesome to watch.
Yeah, I noticed when I was looking at YouTube today, because I was looking at that, at the machines to use and not use. There were a lot of them that kept popping up. Workouts to do when you're 60, workouts to do when you're 65, workouts to do when you're 70. I'm like, hey, how did they get that?
I mean,
I guess from what other things I was looking at, they figured, well, this guy's got to be old. So
my abuelita, she is one tough little old lady. I mean, my mom's mom, I mean, she would put my mom in the ground. If you're watching, you cannot deny that, because she can run laps around you still. Because she works at my uncle's pizzeria, but she's lifting up like 50-pound bags of flour still and just tossing it around, pulling out the dough and making it. I mean, she has like Saquon Barkley legs. Like this little Latina abuelita can just own anybody. And I kid you not, she did an arm wrestling contest, but a competition against Christy. She held her ground, and she's just there staring at Christy while Christy was kind of starting to try to push on her. She's just staring at her. Yeah. So she's a tough little old lady.
Yeah, I remember Robert and I were working out over 24-hour fitness one time, and there's this, you can tell she's a female bodybuilder, but never saw her close. Always saw her at a distance. And we'd be working out because we just, we're different machines all the time, never cross paths. Well, for some reason, she walked over and walked past, and I go, Robert, I wish my legs were that big. There was a time maybe when they were that big, but man alive.
There's some people, and that's the thing.
Guys.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and that's a lot.
She walked by and you're big and hairy. Not true.
But that has a lot to do, like what we're going to really dive in, because those people, what they have is dedication. I mean, and that's the thing when it comes to health and wellness, like it's 100% dedication and devotion, like how you're supposed to do it with your Bible and your faith and everything. Is all about your dedication. How How good are you to put in the extra work, manage your time, manage what you put in your body for fuel, and take care of yourself? Because you're wondering, like, well, why are we wanting to have a talk about today with just health and wellness from a faith perspective? Well, you want to take care of your body
Right.
that the Lord gave you, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, it's on loan. It belongs to
It
him.
belongs,
Right?
yeah, it's
It
on
belongs to
loan,
him.
but it's like when you it's, this reminds me of a movie, but it's like when I can't remember the movie, but they rented a car and they were doing a road trip, but when they went to take the car back, it was completely demolished.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like what we're doing with our bodies and everything.
Yeah.
So I could just picture when God's asking for our bodies just broken.
So what did you do?
I put an 80-year note for you on this one. What happened?
Man, yeah, that could be. Well, because our body's supposed to be used for his glory. So we have to keep it in shape to be able to do that. And I was saying again, I was reading some stuff today, and they said one of the things as a person gets older, as they get 60s, 70s, 80s, because the things that will start to kill you is when you don't use your legs. You got to keep walking. You got to keep going.
For sure.
You know, and when you can't go a mile, go a half a mile. You know, just do something
Right.
with that. But yeah, there's I think it's analogous to the way a believer has to grow, because you're working out. And like you were talking before, I think before we started, about you had a 3-month rotation and you can switch machines up. You might be doing the same body part, but you're doing it in a different way.
Right.
And that's the way we have to do it as great. If you're going to, you know, we can grow to a point and then it stops. We kind of plateau, and then we've got to, you know, maybe you start out using devotionals, and then after a while, the devotionals just ain't getting deep enough, and you want something more, and then you have to go exercise it, you know,
Exactly.
not just read about it, but actually do it. And then, well, it's like, you know, working out to when I was still in Kansas, I was working out because I was determined I was going to be able to dunk the ball. And man, I was doing everything and working out and I had to go out and play though. And went up there one time, and the guy gave me a pass, and boom, like, I made it. I got it. I did it. I can do it. So, and they were probably as shocked as I was, but the group that I was playing with was definitely shocked that I could have dunked it. But then that just became the next. So
is that when the movie White Boys came out?
About the same time.
What is it? White Boys Can't Jump.
White Boys Can't Jump. This white boy could jump.
So they based the movie off you.
Yeah. Well, Woody Harrelson, I hope not. Gosh. He had some things he does that I didn't do. Yeah, so I think that it because people will get into the routines of the work. I've watched it, and I've done training and trained with people for long enough. They get in, this is my routine. And it's like, okay, he says, nothing's happening. He says, well, because your body's gotten used to that.
Exactly.
And you're not adding the weight, and you got to move. One, you got to move the pin up, or you got to put more weight on. You've got to stress it some more somehow. And again, the same thing is true with our Christian walk. We kind of get into this, okay, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm there, but just like when you go to the club and you're working out with somebody, you go, you're mailing it in. And believers do the same thing. They'll
for sure
mail it in, right?
And I think a lot of that has to do with just what would be the appropriate word for that? I'm trying to think now. I'm going blank, but they become lax when it comes to it.
Yeah.
And
it becomes routine.
Mm-hmm. And I know from experience, because I'll be honest, I have fluctuated my whole life, in it, out of it, in it, out of it. And my problem was I never found that in between, because if I put myself into it, I put myself way into it when it came to working out. Like, I made sure I had my journal, and I made sure I knew what workouts I had this week. I knew how much calories I was putting in, what type of calories. Like, I was like in it. Yeah. And the problem was
never in that.
Well, the problem is with that is like so much of that, making sure I hit my macros correctly, making sure I did all this. it eventually got to a point where I was just getting the burnout from it.
Mhm.
And that's hard because
It became work
it
instead of
became work
yeah.
instead of what I was really trying to find in the enjoyment of
Sure.
making myself feel better.
Sure.
And the same actually happened when I was studying for stuff too. And especially when it comes to like in parallel, not saying that I did it with the way I studied the Bible, because I learned from my mistakes when I studied in college.
Mhm.
And that was, I would think that studying was, if I read the book, I just kept on reading it, practice, reading it, practice, thinking that that's how I'm going to retain this information. That's how I'm going to be able to apply it when it came to my exams or anything like that.
Mhm.
I thought that was the appropriate way, realizing that no, I just kept on just making my brain hurt.
Yeah.
And by doing that, getting the fatigue out of it and just awareness that I'm
Yeah.
just doing something that I'm not getting involved with. And by like the last year and a half when it came to college, I changed my studying habits, like the way I applied and how I read. I took different styles of notes, and it actually helped out because I used all that I learned how to study to how I would study the Bible.
Mhm.
And it helped out more because it helped me retain a little bit more information than I would just reading from A to Z.
Right.
And now I'm still trying to figure out how to get back into my workout routine without going all the way out while balancing everything else.
Well, you mean your Bible study and stuff?
Well, not just
Yeah.
the Bible study
But
and stuff, but
workout as
like
well?
healthy and being
So-
stuff and the
Yeah.
work, and
Yeah.
it's probably a challenge that everybody here has something to deal with.
Mhm.
And I know I'm being honest about it. It's like that is a huge challenge for me right now because
Yeah.
I got work, I got family, I got my Bible study, I got reborn, and like I want to take care of my body again because it makes a huge impact.
Yeah.
It like
Yep.
you don't realize that just because I'm eating bad and stuff like that means I'm not healthy, but it also impacts like the way I try to study the Bible or anything. You just
Yeah.
have that awareness now,
Yeah.
like that. Just
Everything's
fatigue.
connected, right?
Everything
Everything's
just
connected.
merges together.
Yeah. Yep. When I would
As I'm sucking down a sweet tea.
when I would fly, when I was going to Boston all the time, I had I'd fly up late Sunday night after church. I'd get done preaching, get in my car, fly up to the airport. I mean, well, I drove, but it was pretty quick getting up to the airport, get everything parked in, sitting in my seat, and then Monday night. At the hotel that I stayed at. Everybody else was staying at these nice hotels. I was staying in a Sheraton because they had a Gold's Gym in there. And so in the basement, and they kind of, and that's how they subsidized some of the hotel. And it got to the point I had a workout buddy on a Monday night because I'd get off work, I'd go in there, take a nap, get my stuff together, and then go downstairs and work out. So that it was a change of location, different stuff that you were looking at, and get in there and go to work. And I had to actually break up with him. It's like, well, I'm not going to be coming
It's always
up
a hard
here
day when you have to
anymore.
break up with
I
your
won't be
workout
coming here
buddy.
anymore. He goes, oh man, it's our last workout. Yeah. So
You know
But,
what? I
it sounds-
breaking up with your gym partner is really hard, and
Yeah.
I find it funny at the same time because I had
a good one's hard to find.
a good one's hard to find. And if he ever watches this, I will deny it in person with him just because I know him. But you know him, Jason.
No.
Jason was actually probably one of the best workout partners I ever had because it was nice finding somebody, even though he was like way older than me. I'm joking. But it was nice finding a person that I could share the same faith with and talk about things that I normally probably wouldn't talk about, that someone that's probably experienced it before.
Mhm.
And then just going to the gym and, because when I'm working out, I want to work out.
Mhm.
I'm not really a chatty catty or
I'm not
anything
a-
like that.
yeah.
I want to do my reps and I want to be done with it.
Mhm.
And then in my between sets, yeah, I'll talk. But with Jason, I actually ended up talking more because he would talk to me, especially if we're on the treadmill running and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We're all there winded like half mile in, but that's because we about
Did you
said
work out at the
at World's Gym.
World Gym? Okay.
We
But-
have a comment. It says, Felipe, I used to love to work out with me. It was your mom.
Oh, did I love working out with my mom? Sure. Yes. I did. Yes, I enjoyed working out with my mother, but my mom, I'll tell you a quick story about my mom on a workout. We were at the Brick is before I got
Don't
married.
take any of this stuff, and make sure you get a doctor's note before you.
This is a prime example to why. I was there. I had my book of workouts that I was going to do for that day. My mom was going to join me on it, and I was targeting arms. So I had a lot of tricep stuff and a lot of bicep stuff. Well, I had my rep counts and everything. I finished mine. I gave it to my mom, and I told her I'm going to go jump on this next machine. So she's there doing the triceps extensions, and somebody that she knew was found her, and they started talking. Well, the whole 10-minute conversation, my mom's still doing the same workout. Next day, she could barely move her arms or anything because I think she probably put about 200 to 300 reps on those triceps.
Right.
So there's your disclaimer on why it's important to make sure you seek medical advice on what your body can and cannot do.
We got another one. It said you are too chatty.
Too chatty. Is that her mom again? Oh, it's your wife.
Well, when she's working out, I talk to her because I'm not working out.
See, I listen to YouTube videos and conferences and stuff. I listen to that stuff while I'm working out, so I'm just carrying it around, and I'm in there by myself. So
yeah,
unless somebody comes in with me, but that doesn't always happen.
But I will say, funny stories aside and everything, when it comes to working out, it's a good tool to use, in my opinion, doing some sort of physical activity.
It's good for the mind.
It helps
stress.
It's exactly what I was about to say. It helps reduce your stress. According to the doctors, of course, but it actually helps out with your stress. Yeah. It helps you actually get back in the right mindset again. It's kind of like a reset switch. Yeah. I've always liked to think of it.
I used to tell folks, it says you can be thinking about 1,000 different things, and your mind's just
all over the place.
Click. But it's back. This is back years ago. Okay. So, but when you start to get under 315 or 325 on a bench press, you're not thinking about anything else.
You're thinking, can I please push this off of my last rep?
I'm thinking, gravity, help me.
Exactly.
Right? So, yeah, that's the and the thing I've always found too when I'm working out, because I don't have to keep notes because I know how much I've done. I know what my bests are. I just know that stuff. So I don't need to. I never had to write any of that stuff down to keep track of it. But as I'm going and I'm thinking, it takes your mind off of troubles or problems you're trying to solve. And I find that in the midst of that, all of a sudden you go, duh, why don't I do this? Or,
I always like thinking of it as God giving you that aha moment after you just got winded.
For sure, where you go like, how come I didn't think of that before?
Because God didn't want you to think about it. So that's why you worked out.
Work out.
Exactly.
God, I'll tell you as soon as you start working out.
Right. You start working out and your mind clears, God's going to give you the answer right there because all of that just disperses from it.
Yeah. I thought you were trying to go, hey.
No.
or is there a quoter here? You can't see that on the camera anyway.
But besides us and what we've experienced stuff, is there anything you can relate towards the topic?
I do work out, so I guess I can relate to that.
What kind of workout do you do?
I do Pilates. I do it on Beachbody. That's what I do. I don't go to a gym. I've never been to a gym before, but I do Pilates for like 30 minutes.
Is it with a machine or is it just on your own?
It's like free range movement, isn't it?
If you go and do it at a place, like if you go and do it in a class, you do have the machines that you use, not regular machines that are in the gym. It's a different type of machines.
Yeah.
But I do it at home, so I don't use the machines.
Well, the reason I ask is because I know that people would use the Total Gym for Pilates, and so I didn't know if you were using it for that. I used to poo-poo that, when I was working out, but man, that is my killer. I've got that. I do free weights, I do body weight, and I do Total Gym, and oh man, it kills you. It's always secondary; it's not the primary, but.
I think static motions is always one that hurts the most when you do isolated workouts.
Yeah.
Those to me always got me the most.
I'm lazy about working out. So if I'm going to work out, I want to get 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 muscle groups involved at the same time. So like I never did setups
Right.
because I would do the pull downs for the tricep extensions and lean out so that it was so, so I killed 2 birds with 1 stone.
Right.
And anyway, that's, I like the fact that the discipline that you have to see improvement in, because it's hard. I mean, you say, well, it's hard if you go run. That's true. All of them are hard, whatever it is you choose to do. But there's something about lifting weights. It's just a different kind of animal.
It's a different animal for sure.
Yeah, but that, and there's a discipline, and there has to be a realization. Okay, I'm peaked at this. I need to change it somehow. I need to do something. And this is what people need to do when they're studying scripture, and they go, okay,
exactly what I was trying to lead up to.
And I've got to here, and I'm stuck. Like you were talking about, I remember early on when I was studying, I'd read it. Okay, I got it. And it's like, man, there's got to be more. And it's like, oh, if I learn the history behind all this stuff, and then if I learn about Jewish culture, and so the Jewish culture brings the Bible back to life. And it's like, oh, wait, it's like, nah, it's dead. But, it brings it back. Oh, it means something more now because I know what it is. So things like that, it's just, you got to keep adding to it.
Right. And not just that, like to like also add into it is the fact that it helps your mental health too.
Sure.
Like that is a tremendous impact that it by things by but that's all, folks. So see you next. Apparently I couldn't spit out a word.
For me to have a better it's always better for me to have a bad workout than to not work out at all. Because that drove me crazy.
Yes.
It's like, okay, when am I going to get back? When am I going to do this? Okay.
I when I was really dedicated with that, I think that was my biggest issue, and I beat myself up the most when I knew, even though I wasn't feeling it, maybe a small sprain or a tweak or something. I was like, I'm going to skip it. I think it bothered me and kept me up more at night than actually just doing at least getting something in.
Yeah. We have another comment that says, I learned my lesson and I need to remember how old I am.
Oh, that must be your mom?
Yeah.
Yeah, she decided that she was going to race Christy a couple weeks ago, and she's still paying the price for it.
Oh, who won?
Christy.
Yeah.
She smoked her.
Yeah. I was going to be nice about that. Oh, well, was it close?
It
wasn't even close.
There's no such thing like that with my family. We're all
Let's
way
see if
too
we get a high
competitive.
five from Christy on that out there.
There's too much competitiveness when it comes to my side of the family. Like, if we're gonna race, we're gonna race. Mm-hmm. Like, we went and ate pizza for dinner that night. We were all super full.
Who's gonna eat the most pizza?
Yeah, and
who's gonna vomit?
I think it was my sister's bright idea. Is like, oh, I want to see who's faster, you or Shelby. And I'm like, I don't want to.
Pizza?
No, the race. We did the race right after we ate a whole pizza.
Oh, goodness gracious!
All these personals, we downed them ourselves, and I was like, I'm too full. And then Shelby makes a comment of, oh, he's just afraid I'll whoop us. All right, let's go.
Yep.
I'm like, nope, I'm done. Let's do
where's
this.
Marcel's at?
Marcel's
pizza.
No, huh? I had pizza. Yes. What's Marcel?
I thought you said Marcel.
There was never a Marcel.
No.
There's some pizza company over there in Old Town Burleson.
Oh,
right off the plaza.
Yeah,
it's super good.
It's not the magic mushroom one, is it?
No. That's in Mansfield.
Okay.
But circling back, that's my new. I think that word has been ingrained in
your pizza because I can't eat it anyway. So
that word has been ingrained in my head from all the meetings I've had this week. Let's circle back. We'll put a pin in that one.
Yeah.
But circle back to what we were talking about: anxiety and stress when it comes to it.
It takes that.
It helps.
Like I said, it takes your mind. If you're doing something, especially if you're getting underweights and stuff like that, you concentrate on what you're doing.
But here, let me tweak it up on one of the little sub comments that I have is, what happens if you're stressed about your faith?
What would stress you about your faith?
Well, I don't know.
Well, the only thing I can think is someone saying
doubt.
They can doubt their salvation. Well, then work it out. Now,
no pun intended.
Well, work it out by virtue of study it.
Mm-hmm.
Get in and study in more depth to get clarity from it. So then you go, okay, some ones that's always, well, can I lose my salvation? And they go, absolutely not. I can't lose but it's like, no. There's nothing else there. you go, let's research it. Let's get in deeper. Let's understand these things some more, because that is the big thing, and especially people that lay on the fringe of their Christianity anyway.
Right.
Are always wondering, well, did I actually go through the door, or am I not in the door? And work that out and get clarity on those things. And it's strange while you're working out, getting a better understanding of one thing, you're going to get a bite on something else. Go,
Right.
oh, what about this? And what about that? So, and at the same time, when you're working out and you got a faith question or an issue, and go, I wonder what God would want me to do here. That taking your mind off of it helps bring clarity.
Exactly.
And as well as when you open up the scripture and you're reading something, you go, I'm reading genealogies. But you know what? Even that, God will go, okay, now let me talk to you.
Yeah.
And you get that something that goes, you're talking, before we started, you're talking about some of the business things that you were dealing with.
Oh, yeah.
And I would be debating with myself how to go in and talk to the CEO or the owner and stuff. And okay, how should I do this? And then just, there's that, you get the, here it comes,
For sure.
And I think what some people do is, well, I got so much stuff to do, I'm not going to do Bible reading, or I'm not going to work out. Right.
Right.
For this, it's like, no, you want to do that, because I can't tell you how many times a workout has given me an idea, Excel or PowerPoint or whatever, where
that is so
I found
true
a
that you
faster
bring that
way
up.
to do it by waiting rather than just getting in there and plowing through something a
Right.
long,
And
slow, hard way.
And I think, and now, just because now I can really see the whole picture and relate to it even more now, is that, especially after that comment you made, is the fact that, well, I'm dealing with work. I know I got to read my Bible and stuff like that. I don't have time for the workout, but no, like, to take care of yourself, it really does have that impact, where it just that clarity and that mindset and being able to, you're pulling away from the it's like God telling you, like, I'm trying to pull you away from all this stress you're dealing with right now.
Yep.
Come over here, do this. And then I'm not necessarily saying, well, you're saying God's telling me to work out. God's telling you to take care of your body.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be working out, but like learning to pull
Walking
yourself and go walk and have that connection with Him while you're going on a stroll for a walk.
Here's one thing I'd suggest, just as a suggestion, check with your doctor first.
Disclaimer.
Is working out, like I said, when I'm working out, I'm watching a YouTube, and I'll watch something, and I remember something that an old professor had said one time, and actually a manager I work for said the same thing. He says, at least once or twice a year, always read a book that's above your level. And
that's most of my books.
It's above. He says, because you think, I don't learn anything, but you'll learn something.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's.
Oh, you can finish your statement, and then we have a question.
And I think that's the same thing that we need to do. We got to get above ourselves. We got to get,
we got to put away the word categorize.
Yeah.
I think that's the killer, is categorizing your
and
events.
This is the thing that I need to do.
Yeah.
Go. Oh, wait. So our question is, why is it so hard to really understand and listen to God? This one was from your mom.
Why is it really, why is it really hard and understand God?
Why is it so hard to really understand and listen to God? That's what the comment
Why is
is.
it really hard to listen? Oh, why is it really hard to listen and understand probably what God's trying to tell you to do? If I understood correctly.
When we start doing the things that we hear Him doing easily, we get more familiar with His voice. I hate to use it's an unfair analogy for these guys, but it's just like when you get an animal, you get a dog, and first thing off the bat, you start calling him a name, and he doesn't, he looks at you like,
who's that?
Who are you talking to? And over time, when you call his name, then he begins to respond to that.
I'm 5 years with my dog, and he does not respond to me.
Well, these guys will if they want to, if Laura's around, I am
It's still a good-
dead to them.
It's
But
still a good analogy,
but
though.
yeah, but you see how over time I get familiar with that voice. I get familiar with what his voice is and what he's telling me, and then I'm willing to go do it. But God speaks to us through our reading, and God speaks study and our Bible studies that we do. And if we're saying no, then we go, well, how come I don't hear stuff? Well, did you say no back there somewhere? And you go, yeah. Well, if you said no back there, why would he talk to you anymore until you respond yes to what he said back there?
Right. And also,
It's like coaching. We talked about that, right?
Mhm.
If you won't do what the coach is telling you to do
Then
here,
you're going to be riding the bench.
you're going to be sitting right there and go, what's wrong? It says, you do this, and then we'll move forward.
But also, it's how I would imagine, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but knowing that what is truly God's word and what is actually the devil temptation is that saying to you. It's like if you're driving and you hear a voice saying, hit him with your car, they're driving too slow. Then
That's probably not God. That's probably me. I'm riding in the car with you.
then
That
you would
should be illegal.
Yeah.
Anyway.
then you would absolutely know something. And I'm not saying just because of that,
Well,
but
the more that we study the
the
word,
word you understand this is right and this is wrong.
Yeah.
This I should be actually listening to this,
Yeah.
even though my heart is conflicted for this.
I think God, because this is not, I guess it's kind of be funny here, but it's not. There are people who say, well, God told me to kill him. Well, I know right now that that wasn't God
Right.
speaking, right?
Okay. So we have another question from your mom. It says, do you think when we don't want
Homeschool.
to listen to God, is the devil getting in our hearts?
Well,
I don't want to blame. I know sometimes we don't want to blame God for just what or blame the devil for just what we don't want to do. I
that'd
want
be
you
too
to.
easy.
I want you to do this. I want you to do that. And you go, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I want you to put me first. And you go, well, after family and after my job and after this. And God
I would
goes,
say that's
"No."
definitely not devil. That would be more
Right.
self-arrogance.
Well, yeah. And devil wouldn't say that. Would be go, wait a second, but I won't get my stuff if I don't. And then it becomes self.
Right.
It becomes self. You do the things you know you're supposed to do. I've always heard this and taught it as well, is that you do what you know you're supposed to, what God's word tells you. You do those things that you know, those things that you learn. A lot of times the thing that a person doesn't want to do is something that's clear in the Bible, but they go, well, I don't, is it right? They debate back and forth like forgiveness, right?
Forgiveness is a very strong
hardest
word.
thing for a person to do is to forgive somebody else and go, but you don't know what they did. Study your Bible some more and understand what you did. Then it makes what they did seem, it will begin to pale, right?
Right.
So but it's tough, but you get used to listening, okay, I know what this is. If the devil tells me to, or if something's telling me to go, do something and I go, wait a second, scriptural, I know that's not right.
Right.
No, that's easy, right? It gets harder when it's like, what job do you want me to have, Lord? Do you want me to have this job?
Is this the correct path that I'm going on,
Exactly.
Lord? I feel like
Yeah.
I'm struggling on.
That's what I feel like I'm going through right now. It's like, oh, what job do I get? Do I get this job? Do I get that job? Do I get this job? Do I get that job?
You're banned.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, right now I am banned. I'm talking about after high school and stuff.
Listen,
After college.
the career that I
Well,
ended
if
up,
you even go.
the career I ended up going into was not on my radar screen at all.
Yeah.
Zero. Not on my radar screen.
Yeah, I would say mine was, but the internal path is where I was like knowing, when I went to interviews constantly. I mean, I probably put in like 30 interviews in a whole month one time trying to find something. And that's where I know the struggle for me was, well, Lord, I just finished college. So did I do it right?
Yeah.
Did I put in all those years studying and passing? And now did I choose the wrong field? Did you try to tell me like 3 years ago when I was first in it? Well, where am I going wrong?
You're supposed to drive an ice cream truck.
Right. So it's like you get that that confliction and then the anxiety and the stress, thinking like, where did I go wrong? I know I was trying to listen to you. I did what I was supposed to do. I thought I did. And, you just start spiraling down this rabbit hole until I just happened to get that one phone call that I never even put in for.
Right.
But it was the same field that I did.
Right.
And then I was like, okay. It's funny, after I had my spiraling moment, not even 24 hours later, I get this call. So I took it absolutely as a sign of, Felipe, shut up, just wait.
Yeah. I started out working on 18-wheeler trailers, and I did that for 3 months, went and did an interview with an insurance company to work in their supply room, just to carry boxes around. And I got an interview to get into data processing. It blew me away, and got into that, and then got down here, and same sort of, and it all just, when you see it, how God works and all that, you go, that not on my radar screen at all. If you'd have told somebody when I graduated from high school that I'd be telling IBM and Hitachi Data Systems how to do their coding and stuff, you'd say, there's no way he's going to do that. There's no way he could do that. And then there you are, So, that's how God puts you on that path. When you say, here's what I want you to do for me, and here's what I'm going to do for you, so you can do this.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's how it
How are we
worked
doing
out.
on time, by the way?
45.
Okay, I think we're going to get close to wrapping up here.
Yeah.
It was a good topic, and kind of to sum up a little bit on the other part, circle back. Okay.
You ever notice when these guys are talking on the news things, the politics stuff, and we have this, if you're in our house and someone's watching that on TV, and you're at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, and then you'll hear somebody, me or Lordo, at the end of the day, it's the end of the day.
I want to go back to when we kind of briefed up a little bit.
When it's all said and done.
All said and done.
Yeah.
So we talked about a little bit about the categorizing of our daily routines and stuff. And I know there are going to be people probably out there who's like, well, I have no time to work out, but I also don't have time to read my Bible. I don't know why I chose that voice out of all things, but I'm going to run with it anyways. The thing is like, if you can't choose one or the other, you can't just say, I'm going to stop reading my Bible so I can get healthy again. Then when I'm healthy, I can go and use God's
you don't
word
want to be
again.
spiritually unhealthy.
You can't be spiritually unhealthy.
Yeah.
It's like a person who orders a Big Mac, extra fries, and Diet Coke. It just doesn't work.
I know that guy.
It doesn't work. You got to go hand in hand. It's like, well, then how can I consolidate the two?
Yep.
Well, it's very easy. You'd be very surprised, and it's something that you probably don't even think about is you can do both at the same time.
One of the things you have to learn, because if you're gonna excel and move up into corporate, you got to learn how to manage multiple things anyway.
Right.
But that's why I tell kids when they're in school and they go, but I got, I'm got an A in this, but I got a C in this, and he says, no, that's not 5 different classes. That's one class of, can I do multiple things well?
Right.
And so if there's any kids listening there, but that's the place we need to go. And we do this with career coaching and counseling, not counseling, but coaching. Let's sit down and look at your day, and you listen to what they do. So we'll just keep this track of this for a week and see what you're doing. They do this in corporate as well. And then you go back and look at it and go, I could cut 30 minutes out of this, and I could cut 10 minutes out of that.
Exactly.
And you can get your time. You can find that time, and there's things that you can double up on as well. You can, I've got one book that I'm reading. I read that while I'm writing. I keep track of, okay, I need to increase the resistance. I'm watching that too, but I'm reading a chapter of a book at a time doing that. So you can double up. You can stack. Right?
You can stack as much as you are able.
Hard,
yeah, you
can't do this.
Can't do this and then put a Bible on, try to balance your Bible on the bar. But I mean, when it falls on your face, and definitely God's trying to hit you with some knowledge right there.
Yeah, but this class, it's not the primary classes I take, but some secondary classes or some. Okay, I can listen to this.
And that's what I was going to say is like, I mean, it could go as easy as like, well, I take a 1 hour walk every day, but
That's an hour.
there's an hour that literally plug in your earbuds, and you got
There's
podcasts
audio
out there that
Bibles
there's an
that you can
audio
listen- yeah.
Bible, there's Bible study
Yeah.
in audio format. You got to find your tools, and you got to see how you can
Mhm.
consolidate and use the
Yep.
resources and apply them, because you'll be surprised. Everything's not meant to be just one thing at a time.
Right.
You can,
You have to be able to
have to
multitask,
be able
yeah.
to multitask, and it actually will help you, because
Yeah.
when you start doing the multitasking stuff, that's going to actually teach you when you're doing your Bible study that I'm reading here, but then I realize when I find something in the Bible that, oh wait, if you open your second Bible and you're like, yes, that's where it's at, and
Yeah.
everything. Like
Yeah.
you start seeing things firing off.
Yeah. That's like,
But-
I listen to folks say that they can't multitask, and I'll say, wait a second, aren't you a cook? And they go, yeah. They go, don't you cook a meal? They go, yeah.
That's multitasking.
You got to multitask that.
Hopefully.
I don't know
Unless-
how you do it, but you can do that.
Right.
But that's the kind of things that what they can do, they just haven't sat down to think through.
And that's the time, like, first, before you just go all out and say, all right, this episode is awesome,
Yeah.
I'm going to apply all this stuff right now. First, halt, find out,
Consult with your doctor.
consult with your doctor, or at least know your own health,
Yeah.
your abilities. But then think of, okay, I'm going to start with these two things first.
Yeah.
Go at it for a couple of months,
And
realizing
it's not an all or nothing.
it's not an all or nothing. Look at your day schedules and throughout your week and figure out, okay, these 3 days, I can actually put these two items together.
Yep.
And let me try it out and see how it goes. Go for a couple weeks. You feeling good? Okay, I want a little bit more out of it. Then that's when you start adding that pressure towards it and everything. And you'll realize, like, by adding those extra things, that dynamic shift actually keeps your brain engaged. It keeps releasing those endorphins. It keeps everything on there, where it starts to become a healthier and a well-being routine for both your spiritual side and your longevity. But I think we're going to pause right there if there's no other questions or comments. But I know I didn't have enough time to pop down some questions for the raffle. We're still looking at the first.
Anybody get the Psalms 119?
So we'll actually
Ah.
have Kaya repost that too. If you get that one right on Facebook, you can get 2 entries on that one. Hopefully, we're still trying to brainstorm our little basket idea. So maybe by next Friday or the Friday after, you'll actually finally get to see what you'll win, and then we'll do the raffle with it. But other than that, our normal spiel is thank you for tuning in with Reborn. Make sure you follow our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Am I missing anything else?
You're good.
I'm good there. And honestly, thank you for always continuing supporting us, and please help our channel continue to grow. That's the thing we're wanting to do. We want this to blow up, and we want to reach out, and looking forward to our other series that have been awesome. And if you tuned in last week, which the episode's there, that hot ramen challenge was a blast. So
No,
we'll probably do a round
We
two.
got something different this time. It's
Yeah,
the jelly beans, right?
We'll probably do the jelly beans or
I'd
something.
rather
So
do that one.
keep an eye out for another fun type of episode like that. But otherwise, here in the Holy Dome, 4 are in, 1 is out, and we're offline.
What?